course this was 1940, 41. Yeah. Oh yeah.
So HMS Fandango was a submarine.
Well, it was a patrol, anti-submarine patrol escort vessel, see, and we used to escort the convoys and protect the, against the subs, you see.
Yeah. So after your 16 months in a white man's grave,
Yeah.
did you have any kind of close calls there, did you, or not?
Oh, well, what we call close on. We several times, we knew we was amongst some subs, and we broke down once on the Fandango. We went down once, and we just sat there and couldn't move, and we had orders not to talk loud or anything while they tried to repair something land or something. I knew. I don't know what I'd be doing. But yeah, it's all good. We dropped a few charges on, contacts on the ASNICs. Yeah, we dropped a few, and don't know whether you can't tell whether you've done anything or not, really. Yeah. But, several times some of the other group, the escorts, because you had quite a few of them on one convoy. Yeah. Mark, pass your contact on to another one, you see, and then you got to cross, what do you call them? Cross reference to them. But you got, say you were steering north, you got one northeast, and one on your port side would say he's got one on so and so, and you draw the line on the map, and you know exactly where the subs were, you see.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
rolled over and dropped them a couple, that's all.
Where did you end up next then after that?
I come back to England, and because I was on 16 months in the free cane, I went back to England, and I got 16 days leave, and I was in New Theatre in Northampton, and I was watching the show, and the comedian Ted Ray was, who I know he played the violin and told jokes and that. And the show was called, I remember it as well, called Black Velvet.
Yeah.
And he came on and hushed everything. The orchestra stopped playing. He's listening to Alan in the audience, see? So I thought I'd been getting a round of applause. Instead of that, he said, "You're wanted in reception." And I turned round, and at the top of the aisles, there was a sergeant of police and a red cap.
Oh dear.
And I thought, well, I ain't done nothing wrong,
Yeah.
I said, "You got immediate recall." I said, "Well, I've got 16 days, I've got my ticket here, go on." And I was with Mum and Dad, and we went back to my house. They insisted that they come with us all the time. They took me to the station, and they told me you'd be met here at Euston, then you'd be transferred to Waterloo, then you'd be met at Portsmouth. And it happened, I went right back like, and from the ever gone back to the Portsmouth barracks, I was transferred by car right from Portsmouth to Swansea by car. And well, like an admiral wouldn't get that to the attention, would he?
You know what I was going to say? I was going to say you were either a very important person
Well,
or in a lot of trouble.
well, they walked. I walked onto this ship. They took me into the dockyard and said, "It's the ship out there," and it was Handel. And I got on the Handel, and no sooner got on, up, and away we come, out to sea, and into the Atlantic, and where we were, so I couldn't do nothing about it. And all I got was white kit, summer kit out from, and all the others, but they fitted me out all right, anyhow, the coats and everything, so, yeah, everything was all right, yeah.
So was that, were you studying flying stuff on the North Atlantic, the Russian convoy?
Yeah, on the convoys, yeah.
Crikey.
But, then, it was all right, you know.
Yeah.
But then we went, this ship I was on was, there was only two,
Angle, yeah?
Angel,
Angle.
Indelle.
D-E.
No, Andelle.
Yeah.
Andelle.
Okay, yeah.
And what happened there, there was only two of these ships
Yeah.
in all the Navy, only two of these sorts, and they were called mine destructor vessels, and they had, how far would it be, about 7 or 8 yards
Yeah.
of protrusion over the bow of the ship, and that was all magnetised by electrics from the diesel. Besides an engine room, it had a diesel room.
Yeah.
And it charged these magnets on the front, and they could destroy fields of mines instead of single mines.
Yeah.
As well as signal mines. Single mines.
Yeah.
And as they went forward, this power was put onto the magnets, and it repelled anything that was metal, and it pushed them out of the way, like the mines would be repelled
Yeah.
each side. Then we had they're called streaming power lines, and that done the opposite to what the magnets were doing. It attracted them.
Yeah.
But being the attraction was done by a tail that you towed after the ship. You repelled them from the ship, but attracted them behind the ship and cut them, loose or exploded them, you see.
Yeah.
And that's what that was for, to when you got somewhere near.
Yeah.
Anywhere that,
How many Russian convoys did you do?
oh, only a couple, and that was enough.
Yeah.
But what happened, we had a change of officer on, did I just say anything about him? He wasn't very nice, and he was a bit, well, he hadn't been in the Navy as long as me, and he wasn't very nice, and I used to do all the, what they called AFOs, Admiralty Fleet Orders. When we went into harbour, back into harbour, I used to go into the operations room and used to pick up all the secret guys to the codes and ciphers. And this AFO said, wanted volunteers for hazardous service. So it's one of the two of us on the ship, I think it's 3. We said we couldn't get on with this bloke, so we volunteered for it. And on the AFO it said that nothing should be stood in the way of anybody that wanted to volunteer, you see. So we volunteered, and they took us to Portsmouth, and in the beyond the town hall, the Guildhall in Portsmouth, there was a baths, the baths, what do you call it, swimming pool baths. And we went there, and they give us a haversack on their back, jump in the pool and swim up and down. Oh, we lit something heavy, a brick or something in the back. Well, of course, I done about 4 yards, and well, everybody done about 4 or 5 yards, and sunk. They hooked you out with the boat hook, and all the busloads have come from all over the different ships and that.
Yeah.
There was only about 2 of the 3 passed. So anyhow, after this test, they took us to a big place in Portsmouth and said, now you mustn't mention this to anybody. So you're now under secrets that what's happening. He said, well, what's the idea then? I said, well, them people that have passed are going to be underwater saboteurs, and we're calling them frogmen, and they would do, you know, dangerous underwater jobs.
Yeah.
So I thought, thank God for that. I said, well, because you're all volunteered, we'll transfer you into the commando or Navy landing parties. And that's how I come to be in Navy, what was it called? LNP, that's it. LNP, landing party. Landing naval party, something like that. 1743, this number was, this party.
Yeah.
And we done training up Scotland, Fort William, the kind of place up Fort William, Whale Island, Whale Island, that's quite near Port, but all different weapons, you know,
yeah.
and all that, unarmed combat and I don't know what they call it, obstacle courses and I can't think of the names they called them now. But yeah, we've done all that then, and of course we had to then, we were coming then up to 44,
yeah.
1944, and we had to go to a place near Shirley, near Southampton. Shirley was called. Shirley, yeah.
Near where was that?
Southampton.
Okay.
And from there we went to a Wait D-Day, which I didn't know, nobody knew when it was going to be.
Did you have a rough idea that that's what you were being trained for?
Yeah. So well, I was on a assault craft at Stokes Bay. Stokes Bay, between Portsmouth and Leon-Solent. And that's where we went from. And we had the, standby the day before, actually.
That's the bad weather day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And had this disbanded it for the day, and we didn't know anything. And then next day, of course, well, say next night, we was away.
So, were you on landing craft or?
Yeah, assault craft, yeah.
Assault craft.
Yeah. And then.
So, the assault craft left Stokes Bay, it went straight to Normandy, yeah?
Yeah, well, of course, there was nobody back then, you see.
Yeah.
Because, there was no way of knowing, but the frogmen and that, these underwater, but there was some, I don't know what they're called, tank traps.
Yeah.
They were like built-in steel things in the water to stop any things coming in, you see.
Yeah.
Boats assaulting the beaches. So the underwater people had cleared some of them. You couldn't see because I was working on the water. And then I was signalling with a box holders they called it. A box holders. ALDIS, holders lamp. What you made Morse with, signalled. And I was signalling to the assault craft that was coming in then. By that time, they were coming in. And they were the Canadians, 3rd Canadian Army that was. There was no British troops on that beach. And it's called Jig Green, it was called. They call it Juno now or something. But anyhow, it was Jig Green. And we signalled all them in.
Yeah.
To assault during that Harrow March. And that's how it come about, well, And
so what
jig, tuna, well, it's called tuna.
You know something.
Like, but it's jig green, we call it, because, well, we were different to the Omaha and, what was that carpenter names they called them?
Sword or something.
Sword and all that, they called different. But the British, well, us, we called ours jig, J-I-G,
Oh, jig, obviously.
jig, because that was the phonetic letter for J,
Yeah,
jig green, and we had different colours for different parts of the beach.
yeah.
And I was on jig green, yeah.
So what was it like then? Were you one of the first people on the beach, or?
That would be, yeah, very first. Well, yeah, but you would call, use it hidden, you see, and the signals that we're making,
Yeah.
I didn't give a beam out or anything, because they were coloured,
Yeah.
and they weren't all that bright, but it's surprising when you've got telescopes on, that you can see a light or what, especially at night, and it's all dark, you see, no lights.
Yeah.
So we were able to signal them easier.
So what time of the day was that?
What combat?
No, when you were making the signals on Big Beach, was that kind of in the night, yeah?
Oh yeah, it was a bit breezy, it's certainly it's cold I thought, yeah, for June, and yes, it was very cool and choppy, very choppy,
Yeah.
and after the troops, a load of the troops come in, there was tugs came in,
Bugs came in, yeah?
tugs, you know, towing merchant ships, some old merchant ships.
Yeah.
And when they lined them up well offshore, or a fair way offshore, and then they blew the bottoms out of them, and they sunk them, and that's in the water, and those part of the decks were still protruding above the water,
Yeah.
so they became like breakwaters.
Yeah.
And then, after that, the day after that, they come up with these, they call them caissons.
Okay.
C-A-S-S-I-O-N-S, caissons. And they were big, and I mean big, concrete blocks. They weren't blocks, they were buildings, but they were hollow. And because they were hollow, they could float, see, and they got towed into position in front of these merchant ships.
Yeah.
Because it broke the roughness of the water up, and they tied them into position, and then took the bottoms out blew the bottoms out of these caissons,
Yeah.
and they sunk, and of course quite a good protrusion above the waterline, and they got guns on them, anti-aircraft guns and everything, see? And that's how they built the harbour, Mulberry Harbour.
Yeah. I've been to Mulberry Harbour, actually. So.
Yeah. Well, I've never had there now, what? I suppose they're there now, are they?
Oh no, there's bits of it still there, you know.
What? The caissons are there?
Well, Mulberry Harbour, yeah, there's still bits about there, yeah.
Bloody hell. Oh.
Because there's one quite high up on the beach, it's like, walking like an old boat, and you can see the old concrete and the reinforcement.
Oh, yeah. I would have thought they'd be broke up now with the weather. But then,
They're not perfect, believe you me, but there's still, you can still see the remains of them.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the engineers come in, and they it's difficult to explain to people, that they bought different things, like a roly-poly bridge thing,
Yeah.
and the troops, instead of landing on the beaches, they were able to land on these instead of wading ashore. They was able to get on these walkways and come straight ashore, you know, and the lorries come on them.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And that's now there. Is that there now?
I'm not sure about that, but like
Well, they were on 4 stanchions on a floating rafting that went up and down with the tide. And they joined these up, and it became like a roadway off the ships at the end, and they was able to come ashore straight away, and tanks and big vehicles had to come and store all the stuff, you know.
Yeah. No, I don't recall seeing them, but I'm saying things like the concrete barges and stuff like that all still in the water.
Ah,
So like, when you were signalling on the beach, were you signalling to like the boats, the Allied boats out?
yeah, all the Canadian part where you see, and just telling them, we were trying to point out where the obstacles were for them to come ashore, you see. You know, keep port lock, and so they all come ashore all right, you see.
Right, that's a very responsible job you had.
Oh, I wasn't in charge of everybody there or anything, I was with one, I was in charge of about 8 after that.
Yeah.
And then when I formed the brigade, I went on what I call FOPS. That was forward observation, and we went through Bayer and went to Caen, and that's where all the trouble was. Where, couldn't just go out because it was all underground. They all buried in concrete. We said it was heavy too. Couldn't get them out. And they were shelling from the sea, and we were telling them when the shots were falling short or high or left or right. And there was big battleships and a couple of what I call monitors. One was the Marshal Salt, and the other one was called the Erebus, and it got 20-inch guns on them.
Yeah.
18 and 20-inch guns, and dropping them on Caen, like, it made no difference. They finished out to, I think they had 1,000 bomber raid on Caen before it collapsed, you see. Yeah.
I guess really you were the guy that people going forward, really, weren't you? Like, surveying the land and giving the intelligence back.
Well, hey, quite a few of us,
How many of you were in signals then, doing it?
Oh, about 6 over 8, 6 of us, 8 of 8 that was qualified, and the other one was called him Mech.
Yeah.
He was mechanical. He carried what do they call them? Made electricity. Oh,
Generator.
Hey?
Generator?
Yeah, he's got like a generator, a small one on his back, and the other one, he had TW12 or something, TR12 or something they called it, a wireless on his back, you see, because we were visual and they were wireless.
Okay.
So that's how it come about, because you couldn't use wireless really, not because they were so easy to trace, you see.
Yeah, they got the signal.
I could pick them up easy, see, so didn't use them a lot. Not where it mattered, like. So that's how it come about, yeah.
Did you find yourself under fire? Like were you kind of
Oh yeah, but when you're lying down, I can't see. It was interesting, but we used to have some, I don't know, look at it now, and we used to have some laughs, good job we did, really. That was all right.
So how long were you in the Normandy area for?
In what?
How long were you in Normandy for?
Oh, after Caen, we went to, we done some observing for, what's around the park, I can't remember these places now. Falais Gap.
Sorry?
Falaise. And then we went from there up to to Lille, Lille, L-I-L-L-E, Lille, Alice, and Rouen. We went through there and then into Belgium. And into Antwerp then. Yeah, that was all right.
Did you go to Holland as well?
Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah.
Did you end up in the war in Germany as well?
Oh, yeah. Went from Antwerp into Holland to a place called Markham, and I met Siggy Bow. You wouldn't probably well. Don't mean nothing to anybody really. Siggy Bow was a lady leader of the resistance.
C.G. Bell, yeah?
Siggy Bow, they called her. And it's all in the record books, Siggy Bow. And I was fortunate enough after the war to go with the wife. And we went to Markham and met Siggy Bow.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah, that was with the wife. Well, the people around there were all of the same family sort of thing. So I think it's famous for trees, I think, or something.
Excellent. I've never heard that name before, but I'll include that. That's very interesting.
Markham.
Well, C.G. Bell as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think it was S-I-J-I. C.G. C.G. Bow. It's all in, it's got to be in the records. I mean, probably she was ever so well known.
Yeah. Okay.
That time, hey, she was like a, what would you say that old one? Odette Churchill, or whatever her name is, I don't know. Yeah, but she's sort of more famous than Anna Franks or any of them.
Yeah.
Oh, Siggy Bow was, yeah.
Okay, well, I'll look her up and find some information about her. I am intrigued now.
Yeah, well, it's got to be in the books, and it's,
Yeah.
I mean, that is probably, yeah. And where did we do then? I went to, into Germany, Celle, on borders, Celle, then went up to Bremen, then Hamburg to Kiel, Plön, that's right, Kiel, and then from there to Flensburg on the Danish border.
Oh, crikey.
And that, because that's where we were clearing out then all the German officers or German Nazi people that had fled, and they couldn't get into Denmark, you see, because it's border, and marked a few of them up, and that's where I stopped there. And I got him up from there to, I went from there to Cuxhaven, from Cuxhaven to Hull, and got demobbed. I was trying to think.
So what year were you demobbed then, Albert?
The same year as the war finished.
Okay.
Because of my early service, and my time of service, you had a give up number.
But had they realised how young you were at the end?
Well, when I got in a bit of bother in Antwerp, and I was in Canadian clearing station, casualty clearing station, and that was the 16th of December, that was, and it was my birthday, and it was my 21st birthday. But I couldn't tell them I was 21.
That's when you was
23. and the nurses, Canadian nurses, they were, clearing station, they brought me as a present a slick automatic razor. Beautiful thing it was. Yeah, and that was my birthday present. But as soon as I could walk, I had been walking age again. Yeah.
What happened to you? Had you got shrapnel or?
No, I was on, they called R&R into Antwerp, and I went with a pal into the Rex cinema, and it got hit by a V2 rocket.
Of course.
And that was the biggest single bomb to kill the record number of people. 590 odd people. They said there were 600, there was 590 odd. It's all in the books there. Yeah, that was the Rex cinema.
Crikey.
And I got buried alive, and they dug me out next morning. And that's how I come to go to the casualty clearance station. But I'm certain, well I know now, told me, my pal who I was with, mate I was with, his name was Day, and we called him Happy Day, and he got killed. He was sitting alongside me, so.
Oh, crikey.
Yeah, but it was.
You had a very lucky escape.
Oh, probably. But I could have been caught in the road, couldn't I? And gone nose over. It's just as easy. Yeah, it was.
Can you remember anything about being buried alive?
No, only going up in the air. I remember that going up, and then it's strange because I think I lived my life up to then over in seconds going up in the bloody air. And I don't remember anymore for a couple of days. I can remember I'm coming in, those nurses, which way you said one each side, picking bits of stone out of me. Yeah, that was a bit funny.
So you were demobbed at the end of the war, went back home to Northampton, did you?
Yeah.
And then what did you do in Tibby Street?
I went back to Barrett's shoe factory. Where I was.
Shoe factory,
Yeah.
What company was it?
Barrett's.
Barrett's, okay.
William, I walked the Barrett way.
Yeah.
And the chappie who was on my machine that I'd left before to join up, he was still on it. And he was there. And the reason he never went into forces, because he was deformed. He had one leg shorter than the other, and it was a great big built up by about 5 inches. And he was on this, and I thought I was going to walk straight back in. They said no, and I've got to sort things out, and it got so I thought, well, I'm not having this. He'd been earning a lot of money all through the war, and they wanted me to, do silly little jobs for hourly rate. And he was earning 2 or 3 times more than me. So I packed up. And it's a very, very funny thing, but don't mention this to anybody. But this chap, his name was Cave. Aubrey Cave. He was earning all the money, and of course they bought their own house. He got married, he died later, but he got married, and his wife, believe it or not, is now next door to me in an apartment. Rose Cave. Yeah, it was her husband that had my job.
So you left Barrett's, and where did you go then?
Where the girl then died.
Sorry?
All the shoe factories, you went Padmore's,
Yeah.
You went to several different boot factories, didn't you?
So I used to go to technical college as well for learning the trade better, and I could do anything with making shoe really. And I just went to, you know, if I weren't satisfied, if I weren't satisfied in them days,
You just move on to the next one.
you could say, well, give me my cards and you walk into a job anywhere, you see.
Yeah, well, I guess Northampton was named for its shoe industry.
Oh yeah. But you see, all the craftsmen
Yeah.
were still in the forces or retired, you see.
Yeah.
And I wasn't too bad at what I was doing. So I was always all right for a job, walk anywhere into a job. That's what I done.
Yeah.
And then,
So, what lucky lady married you?
A very lucky one.
the loveliest girl. Yeah. She was all right.
What was her name?
Eileen.
Eileen.
Yeah.
Is that with an E, yeah?
Yeah. Eileen Emery.
When did you get married?
1951.
1951, yeah.
Was she a Northampton girl?
Yeah, sure was, yeah. Yeah.
And children? How many children did you have?
One was Eileen's by her first husband, who was
Okay.
a young lad.
Yeah.
And then I got my daughter, who you've already spoken to,
Of course, yes.
and she's horrible. she's I don't know what to do with her. A bit bossy, takes after her mother.
She's a bit bossy.
No, she's gorgeous, and
Yeah, she sounded lovely.
yeah, she is. She's clever, I don't. She's ever so clever.
Yeah.
She must just go after her mother.
And do you have any grandchildren?
Well, my stepson,
Yeah.
I've never called him my stepson.
It's always been your son, yeah?
It's all my son.
Yeah.
He had a daughter, but we lost contact with her years and years ago because she just floated away, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know,
And you got the boys, Dad.
What?
The Scott and Kieran.
Oh, yeah, because my daughter who you spoke to,
Yeah.
her husband got 2 children,
Okay.
and they're both gentlemen, they are. We have 2 lovely lads, and we went to see them yesterday, but they're lovely. They are smashing kids, and because they call me Pap,
Yeah.
but I've never been called Pap, I don't. But they're lovely. They're lovely.
Excellent. Right, so what I'll do, Albert, yeah?
Yeah.
I'll somehow write all this up,
Oh God.
and I'll send it to you in the post. I'm going to stamp it to envelopes as well. So if I've got anything wrong, if you want to make any changes...
Yeah. Oh, you don't need to mention Alpha. You can just say I was in and ate, and that's it. It don't make no difference, does it? But see, I'm not one for medals or anything.
No.
Never mind, don't matter. I had a younger brother that was mentally deficient,
Yeah.
and the brother just above me and myself gave their medals to her dad, and he loved it because he used to pray about these medals on. I've never seen them from the day they give me them to. Never ever seen them, and I've never wore medals. The only ribbon I ever wore was a 1939 to 43
Yeah.
star, which they later committed to be 1939 to 45.
Okay.
The same medal. I awarded it to everybody. And if you've done so many months service between then, they give you it. Well, people that had only joined up a couple of 3 months ago, so got the same medals, what? The 39 to 43 people got. And I thought, well, I better give up with medals. And then when you see in the AFL fellas, some of them that medalled, officers, they won a raffle in the act to get the medals.
Yeah.
If a ship was awarded 4 medals, the officers had them, and they just shared them between them.